Another day, another Xbox is doomed scenario and story. I swear, these people must be making a lot of money off of running with this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not really sure exactly why or how these types of things keep on getting circulated, but for me, isn't any company going to be not pleased with some kind of situation with what's going on? And I can give you a good example of this. Do you think Sony is pleased with PSVR 2 flopping around? Do you think Sony is pleased with PlayStation now that Microsoft is about to get Call of Duty and Activision and all those deals? I mean, there's obviously going to be things that these companies are not pleased with, right? And that just goes without saying. So when something comes out, when a rumor comes out or whatever, and Microsoft's not pleased with the state of Xbox or whatever, everybody's going to run with it because for whatever reason, a lot of people just really dislike Xbox. I still haven't fathomed or come up with a good idea as to why. Whenever you bring it up, they're like, well, we want Xbox to do better, but we don't want them to buy other companies. We don't want them to do this. We want them to do it exactly this way, with this money, and with this, and do it this way, the way that Sony does it. We don't care that Sony did it this way 20 years ago. That's not relevant. They're not doing it that way anymore, so Microsoft has to follow exactly what Sony's doing. That's a bunch of nonsense, right? So I want to get into this. I found that this was a very interesting topic, highly refutable, and by the way, keep this with a grain of salt because clearly it's not a fact thing. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with yet another video. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Slap that like button. Go ahead and give it a little thumbing. I would appreciate that. It helps out tremendously. I'm looking to get 100 likes on each of the videos that I do, and that really kind of comes down to you all. So it's been reported that parent company Microsoft has not been thrilled about the state of its popular gaming brand Xbox in recent months. Xbox was and still is set up to have a stellar 2023 after an underwhelming output of first-party studios or titles in 2022. Guess what though? You don't got to be a real insider to kind of mention that, right? So obviously, if you look back to 2021, Microsoft had record-breaking revenue, record-breaking sales. Why did they have record-breaking sales? Well, because they came out with a bunch of games at the end of the year that helped lead this charge, including Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, Flight Simulator. They also came out with Psychonauts 2. So it was like literally every single month, Game Pass had a new first-party game. Of course, that's going to... And I know people are going to go, well, Halo sucks, but look at all the problems that... Listen, at launch, Halo Infinite was an 87 rated game. Everybody was loving it. It played great. You can sit there and say, hey, the lack of content afterwards affected it, and it did, right? It definitely, it shows that they didn't really know how to go about certain things with that game. Hopefully they can get it back on track or whatever the next Halo may be. But at the same time, that helped push, record sales for Microsoft. And then so in a year, coming off the all-time highs of 2021, in a year in 2022, when they had zero big first-party releases, of course things are going to be, undesired. They're going to be worse. Of course they are. Now, Xbox started off the year with a bang, shadow dropping the highly praised Hi-Fi Rush with the developer direct in January. Tango Gameworks' stylish third-person action rhythm game was critically acclaimed and remains a colorful feather in Xbox's cap, with other major first-party titles planned for this year, like the recently released Minecraft Legends, Arcane's Redfall next month, Bethesda behemoth that is Starfield in September, Forza Motorsport, and possibly more in the fall. Xbox and its fans were ready to potentially enjoy its biggest and best year of games in a long time. However, several key developments in recent weeks have taken the wind out of Xbox's sails. On the Game Mess podcast, industry insider and journalist Jeff Grubb reported that Microsoft wasn't happy with the current state of Xbox. He mentions the dry 2022 as the key factors, but guess what? Fans weren't happy with that either. And the players who bought an Xbox Series X or X console may be regretting their purchases. Last year saw Xbox Game Studios release only 4 smaller projects in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC, the 1.0 release of Grounded Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition, which was a PC release, and Pentiment, which was Obsidian's in particular was a critical darling, but it wasn't something that the masses were going to play. But Xbox's severe lack of AAA output in 2022 was very much disappointing for many Xbox fans, including me. I've said this numerous times, right? Like Microsoft, they really messed up with 2022. But at the same time, they can't rush stuff, because what happens when things aren't ready? Then they're going to complain. Like, Microsoft is in a lose-lose situation, because you cannot complain with what's going on. If you complain, then it never really made any sense to me personally, because if you complain that there's no games in 2022, but then they rush games and they're not finished, or they're not up to par, or they have glitches or whatever, you're going to complain about that too. There's no way that they could just poof shit games out that are like ready to go. Like, that's not how it works. Game development is hard, it's difficult, and you have to give developers time to work. So yeah, there is that. And Microsoft has to be able to do a better job, and I think that this is the start of that. I mean, obviously they've already released 3 first-party games this year, about to be 4 with Redfall. I think that's doing pretty damn well. The report comes just a week after confirmation that Redfall will only be playable in 30 frames per second upon launch, then the industry standard of 60 frames, which will become available at a later date. This news has thrown a wrench in Redfall's momentum, with many fans calling for a second delay and questioning why the game can only run 30 frames per second on Xbox's premium console. Now, I do agree with this. I thought that maybe they should delay it. I think there's some miscommunication going on with Xbox, but at the same time, I'm not going to, continually just bash. Even after its initial year-long delay, another contributing factor could be that Xbox's rival PlayStation has been dominating the console market in recent months, with PS5 even outselling PS4 over the 29-month period. Toss in Xbox's inadequate marketing efforts and games of all shapes and sizes, from Final Fantasy XVI to Oxenfree 2 skipping the console, it's clear that Xbox is in somewhat of a rough spot right now. It's not all doom and gloom, though, as despite all the negativity, Xbox can still turn things around with its big 2023 lineup in the chamber. Frame rate aside, Redfall still has the potential to be stellar, and Starfield just might be the massive AAA banger experience Xbox has been needing on its side for a while. With Xbox's summer showcase in June, who knows what else is in store for second half. Now, everybody is so doom and gloom with Xbox right now, right? It's like utterly ridiculous, but at the same time, what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing is, the games that Microsoft have announced right now is just crazy. Starfield, Redfall, Forza Motorsport, Avowed, State of Decay 2, Perfect Dark, Kojima's game. You also have Contraband and Outer Worlds 2, and there's so many damn games. There's like 15 of them announced. Hellblade 2. It's just a matter of time before we get them, and that's the sucky part, is having to wait. Is crazy, and I get it. People are kind of upset or whatever, but at the same time, it's like, you're upset, but Microsoft is clearly in a better position this year than last year, and they have more first-party content coming out this year than Sony. So I don't understand where some of this hate lie, but certainly Microsoft isn't all doom and gloom. People are like, oh my god, they're going to stop making the console. Listen, they are not going to. If they stop, they wouldn't be going after Activision if they had plans to just go third party, right? They would relent on things and have Game Pass on PlayStation and Nintendo at the least in that instance, right? Like, those things haven't happened and likely won't happen ever. But people always with the narrative. Yes, the console unfortunately is only as important as cloud and PC and all the others. Like, there's not one more important thing than the other, despite the fact that we've all kind of grown accustomed to the console being what Xbox is. I think we all just have to face facts that Xbox is whatever Microsoft says it is. It's, if it's PC, if it's cloud, if it's a tablet, then it's all of it. But it makes it all equally as important. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.